Hello, welcome to another weekly recap of Trinidad Bhojpuri Words. How was this past week for you? Were you able to keep up with all the words or did you guess for a couple of those days? That's fine. It's a learning experience for most of us. But we were able to have so much interaction. There was so much engagement, and that is really, really helpful. So thank you once again. Let's get started. I'm Karan Das.
And I'm Dr. Visham Bhimull from Caribbean Instant.
So on Monday, a sentimental word was chosen. Kutiyaa was used on Monday. Now, this turned out to be sort of a tricky word for some people, but it did encourage a lot of dialogue on social media. So some said a hut, a mud hut, which is what we intended. But some others believed this word to mean a female dog but used in a derogatory manner. So, Dr. Bhimull, you are going to have to explain why one would be mistaken for the other.
Right, and this would emphasize sound. So in Hindustani, we have Hindustani meaning Bhojpuri or Hindi. We have two tas, ta, like in the. So there's the English like the sound where you put your tongue and put it to the teeth. But there's also ta sound where you put it on the hard palate. There's an example where difference in sound would create some ambiguity in meaning. So you all know Kutta is dog from Hindi, is Kukur in Trinidad Bhojpuri. Kutta does exist though in the Caribbean Hindustani varieties. So adding the iya, which is the feminine suffix kutta with the tip of the tongue to the teeth, creates Kutiyaa, right? Kutiyaa, which gives it, well, a male dog, female dog. So you can see where the derogatory term comes in there. As opposed to the tip of the tongue to the hard palate, which is Kutiyaa, that is essentially a hut. So a lot of people said that it's the prayer altar in a small construction outside the house. So Kutiyaa essentially was a hut in a village context, so a small dwelling area. But because I wouldn't give the actual word we use for that sort of small personal temple outside the house, we could use that another time. The word Kutiyaa eventually started being associated with that particular hut or house or dwelling in a sense. Well, the dwelling of God in this context. So essentially it came to mean that, but it didn't really take away from the meaning of a hut. So I think the expression is fire in the Kutiyaa. So obviously fire in the temple may not make sense, but Kutiyaa is in dwelling place, so in the home kind of give a better context there. So you see how the original meaning would have come back in that local Trinidad English Creole expression.
Right. So that was Monday's word, just to clarify. And yes, someone did, I think a few persons did this on Facebook. They actually went through the spelling. And there was one gentleman, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name offhand, but he actually went through the Devanagari spelling, which is a new edition that we posted with the Trinidad Bhojpuri Words. So that way, at least for those who understand the spelling, would know the difference with the t and the t.
But this is another example now where you see limited in utilizing the Roman script because, well, there's no ta and ta will be the same letter in Roman script, where there's two different letters or consonants in the Devanagari or Indian scripts in general. Because remember, the indentured laborers, if they were literate, didn't write in Devanagari but KT, which is script related to Devanagari.
All right. Now, Tuesday sort of had the same sort of reaction. Tuesday's word was Gareeaaway. Now, we had a toss-up between a car has come, or a car is coming, and to insult or to tease or to curse.
Right. So this form of a verb we encountered in Kutiyaa, right? Awe means to come, and we either utilize a noun or adjective to say it comes to be like that, right? Gadi actually comes from gari, which is gali in Hindi. So more gari suno Maharaj. Gari is an insult or pikong or in that I think it's more light. It's not necessarily a frank insult, but it's an insult in the context of like a pikong where it's just made for fun, right? That's
Mhm.
something quite common in the Bhojpuri diaspora and in Bhojpuri area as well in songs. Because gari is a type of song, right? We know about that from weddings and cooking nights and so. Um, so Awe, which means to come, shortens the gari to gari, so it becomes Gareeaaway. So Gareeaaway means to insult or to um to insult or curse. Yeah, curse specifically. I'll just tell you a quick little story. This is from a person who used to work in the court during the time of when Trinidad Bhojpuri is spoken, and he was justice of the peace, but he was trying to help out somebody who didn't speak English. I'm sorry, Trinidad Bhoj, who didn't speak English, but Trinidad Bhojpuri. So he wanted to claim insanity. So he told him, when I tell you, you'll curse, right? So he tell him obviously Gareeaaw, Gareeaaw, which is the imperative. So the person was asking, um, um, Abhi Gareeaaai, curse now. And then, well, he just of the piece was like, obviously he would seem to be influencing what was taking place, right? So, or you can claim insanity if he asking him, so he cannot step away and look like he didn't know the person. So that is an example of where it was used. Just to note that I guess in the courts, like in rural areas, in the latter part, but in general, you would have a lot of Trinidad Bhojpuri speakers who couldn't really communicate in English. So Trinidad Bhojpuri slash Hindustani or whatever variety of Hindustani was quite common within the court among the common people.
Okay, so we're not giving anybody any ideas here, but that was actually a good one. Gareeaaway. Moving over to Wednesday's Trinidad Bhojpuri phrase, which I guess would be connected to what was just said. Kuchh Bolo. Kuchh Bolo. I think everybody got this one right. This was a nice break from all that guessing on Monday and Tuesday. Nice, simple Trinidad Bhojpuri phrase. Kuchh Bolo.
Right? Bolo is imperative. So bole is to speak. Bolo is speak as in the command. And kuch means some or something. So kuch bolo would mean say something from the song. You'd remember bolo bolo kuch to bolo.
And on Thursday, we followed up with an animal. Sooar. We decided to go with an animal this time. Sooar, not Sooar, but Sooar on Thursday. And it's sort of appropriate for the season, I guess. Dr. Bhimal?
Right. And this is a cognate, right? A lot of times you'd find that a Hindustani would have a direct equivalent cognate, meaning that they would have shared the same root, like Badnaam is bad name,
Mm-hmm.
right? Badnaam, bad name. Exact from original Hindustani straight into English. Not translated, it's just that they share common roots. Suar is another example. Um, so suar and swine is the same root again, right? Um, I think is a similar word in German. So yeah, suar means swine, or another word for pig.
And we wrapped up the week, as always, with a food related word. Well, this one wasn't exactly fit for consumption, but Baasee was used, and we had comments like Baasee hot and Baasee roti. Just Baasee was used on Friday.
I remember this word used in a song from the Netherlands. It's a chutney basi rotia balamanai khao. Don't feed your husband or beloved stale roti. So it means stale, right? But remember that's contextual because what people determine stale depends on social norms and reliability. Or I mean, what's your social norms in the culinary arts? Because a lot of people actually steal certain things to get to get a particular cuisine type, right? Look at Dahi or
Yes.
Sarabara and these kinds of things. So it wouldn't. It means Basi means stale, but not stale in the context of can't be
Rotted
eaten.
or bad.
Right. So it's stale in the which is Sara is rotten, right? Sara as in Sarabara. This is more stale in the context as in like leftovers or stale food that is not edible. It's just that it's not cooked today. So it's kind of used in that context of
Oh, really? Okay, okay. So, yeah, so some folks did say leftovers.
yeah, because in the song Basi Roti, I could mean leftover roti. You know the
Mm.
whole idea with the Indian tradition and
Eat
well
French.
with yeah, and it has some sexist innuendos there too because remember, oh well, you should marry a woman who could cook, and then she should steal. She should basi kaika, which is steal food. At least, yes, she should cook every day, kind of thing. So it comes within that sort of tradition and conversations I remember from my grandparents as well.
Yeah, somebody said that if you were to make roti in the morning and you just had it wrapped up in the sapi, and then you have that in the evening or you serve it in the evening, that would be considered basi.
Right. So think about it. If you cook roti in the morning, they didn't eat it out, and then you
Yeah.
cook roti in the evening. Sometimes they might not be able to tell which is which. So you say, well,
Mhm.
this is the basi roti, so it means that it's stale one, or stale roti, meaning that it's from this morning. So that's I get the context. I left over.
Ah, got it, got it, got it. Well, this was a really good week. We had so much interaction on social media for these words. So the Gareeaaway and the Kutiyaa, I think, kept people quite active because, yeah, there was the toss up between one and the other. But I'm so glad that we sorted it out. And again, this is why we have these weekly recap videos. So you get a complete idea of the context in which the word is being used. You also have the pronunciation, which is extremely important. On social media posts, we have the spelling, we have the Devanagari now. So we're giving a nice holistic compilation of Bhojpuri words and phrase. So we'll have some fresh words for you up, and we hope to hear from you. So once again, thank you so much, Dr. Bhima. Why not share your contact information?
Sure. Your viewers could contact Caribbean Hindustani on the Facebook page, Caribbean Hindustani, on the YouTube page, and the website is caribbeanhindustani.org.
All right. And I'm right here on Facebook. You can also catch me on Instagram at Karen KV Das. So thank you once again and keep up with us. Trinidad, Bhojpuri words and the phrase. I'm Karen Das.
And I'm Dr. Visham Bhimull of Caribbean Hindustani.
Catch you next week. Bye.